People have been blaming the Olympics this week for the low ratings in wrestling. So let's try and jump through some of the hoops and try and figure out why these quarters were so low. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. The NXT quarters are out for the July 30th edition of NXT. The numbers don't look good, but I mean, how could they possibly look good when the overall viewership was 468,000? You could say Olympics this, Olympics that. The fact that this many people are tuning out, though, to watch the Olympics shows you that the show itself isn't good enough in the first place. If the show was better, less people would be interested in tuning out. More people would want to watch wrestling over the Olympics. That's the fact.
No, that is the fact. There'll be no high jumps tonight because it's all about low. It's all about losing.
It's all about the low jumps and how low can you go. So quarter one, 8 o'clock to 8:15. Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, backstage angle. And then we got the Unholy Union versus Metaphor. This kicked off with 462,000 views. Why are Hank Walker and Tank Ledger still on NXT? Two guys that do nothing for me. Two names that do nothing for me. No characters, nothing, going nowhere.
You notice how their name sounds exactly the same though? Like Hank Walker, Tank Ledger. It's like the same shit. Hank, Tank, Walker, Ledger.
Aye, both first names 4-letter words, both second names 6-letter words.
ER, Hank, Tank, you know.
Hank, Tank, you know, it just sounds pish, doesn't it? Like
it does sound pish.
And then honestly, the women's tag team belts, we're still pretending that they matter. They don't. Quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30, we got the Unholy Union versus Metaphor continued. Ethan Page and Oro Mensa live angle. Then we got Cedric Alexander, Sean Spears, Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen backstage. Got Tavian Heights in there as well, and a Tony D'Angelo backstage promo, followed by a Pete Dunne video. This went up 8% to 499,000 viewers. And in the key demo, we saw a rise of 12% to go up to 201,000 views in the key demo. So big rise here from quarter, I say big rise, in terms of percentage, big rise, but I mean, in terms of numbers overall, I mean, not that much of a rise. Quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45, it's D'Angelo versus Tavian Heights. Fallon Henley, JCJ and Jasmine Nix in there as well. Sol Ruka, Carmen Petrovic with a video. Brooks Jensen versus Cedric Alexander. This went up 4%. 517,000 views. Highest viewed quarter of the show. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't really see anything in this quarter that would necessarily, you know, make this the highest quarter. It could just be a fluke.
I mean, it could be a fluke. Maybe it's maybe something the Olympics ended at 8:30 and everyone tuned in on their drones.
Maybe,
the Olympics.
Yeah, let's move on to quarter 4 then. 8:45 to 9 PM. Alexander versus Jensen continues. We get Siobhan Evans video. We get Joe Hendry, Ashanti Adonis backstage angle. And we get the Rascals in a backstage angle. This lost 1% in viewership, down to 514,000. But it still gained 6% in the key demo and moved up to 242,000. And quarter 4 was the highest quarter for the 18 to 49 demographic. So, I mean, take from that what you will. Just again, I don't really take anything from it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that people tuned in to see Brooke Jensen versus Cedric Alexander, because I don't think it happened.
No one tuned in to see these guys. I think you just look at this though, and it's just a perfect example of NXT just doesn't really have anyone, doesn't it? Not we like Joe Hendry, but I just don't think they're ever going to push the guy seriously.
Well, let's talk about Joe Hendry. Quarter 5, 9 o'clock to 9:15. Normally, this is a good quarter to be in, but not tonight. Joe Hendry with the live concert. We get the Gallas interrupting him. Then we got Walker and Ledger backstage. Roxanne Perez backstage. Then we got Paige and Mensa and Ava in a backstage angle. And this went down 4% in viewership to 494,000 and down 7% in the key demo to 225,000. So, yeah, pretty big losses here, especially considering Joe Hendry was in this. They kind of hyped up the Joe Hendry concert. This was supposed to be one of the bigger things about the Great American Bash Night 1. And in the end, I mean, yeah, Joe Hendry just did not lift the ratings. I mean, it was a decent segment, but it didn't do anything for the numbers, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah, disappointing there for Hendry. He's still drawn the most in YouTube views, but in terms of the numbers here, he didn't do much. However, once that ended, we've seen a fuller decline. Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 PM. Jada Parker versus Kendall Gray. Chase U backstage angle. LWO, Axiom, Nathan Fraser backstage angle. Then we got Henley Jane and Nxt versus Petrovic, Lola Face and Ruka. This went down 12% in viewership to 433,000 and down 18% in the key demo to 185,000. Very shocking there, that demographic, man. Yeah, mincemeat, absolute garbage. Not good. Not good at all. Going into quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45, Fallon Henley, JCJ and Jasmine Nxt continued versus Petrovic, Face and Sol Ruka. We then got Kalani Jordan, Tatum Pakesley and Wendy Chu backstage. An all-female quarter, went down 4% to 416,000 viewers and went down 5% in the key demo to 176,000 viewers. I mean, we can say, well, you can say that WWE does a better job of booking women than AEW, but women just don't draw, man. Proof's in the pudding here.
Yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? This isn't like a segment with just 3 or 4 women. We're talking about, what, 12? There's a lot of women in here. Right, maybe not 12, but what, 9, 10? That's a lot of women, man, not to... Yeah, maybe I'll take it back, but I think at the top of the card, they can do it a bit better.
Maybe, I don't know, just too much women on NXT. Not to sound gay, but way too much women on NXT. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 PM, we get a recap. There's a Joe Hendry promo backstage where he's walking out. He says he'll be back next week. £252 of motivational speaking will be all over Gallas. We then got the beginning of Perez versus Thea Hale. This went down 2% in the viewership to 409,000. This was the lowest rated quarter of the show. So we're continuing to see the dip here. But in the overrun from 10 o'clock to 10:05, Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale final match continuation went up 12%. Now, that's a pretty big increase. So again, I mean, that tells me that it's not necessarily the match. If people really cared about this match, then quarter 8 would also be high. Every time I see a big overrun after quarter 8's down, I don't believe it's because people really wanted to see what happened with Thea Hale and Perez. If people really wanted to see that, they would have tuned in quarter 8. So I think this is mainly people checking to see what's on after NXT. I think that's the majority of the views. I think that's what they're coming from. But yeah, up 12%, 457,000 views is what it is. 1% up as well in the key demo. Overall, numbers poor. Yeah, I get it. Olympics don't help, but Olympics or no Olympics, 468,000 is a shocking number. No, and people need to admit that.
No, it's a shocking number, and there's no excuse, regardless of what channel you're on. But you're right, we see a lot of these trends with the overruns where they go up. I think it's just a case of people tuning into the thing it's on after.
The overrun should, let's be honest, right? See if what people have seen in the overrun, see if that's what they actually want to see. The overrun should be consistent with quarter 8.
Aye,
because it's quarter 8 that's leading into the overrun.
Yeah.
If the main event is on quarter 8, then the overrun is also the main event, and you should be basically getting the same audience. See, as soon as you see the overrun with a much higher rating than quarter 8, it tells me that it's a majority of the people that have seen the overrun weren't necessarily there to see the main event, or else they would have been there for quarter 8. But anyway, what's that matter? Shite week for NXT, shite week for wrestling. Don't worry though, Friday Night SmackDown, Saturday Night AEW Collision, still, they want to have a go. They want to prove that they can deliver in the ratings, and we'll find out whether or not they can. Anyway guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.